Hello and welcome to Let's Talk SEO. So we know that Google has been taken to trial, and there are quite a few things that have been revealed over the past few weeks that the DOJ has also published, and it's on the DOJ's website. And there's a lot of buzz around the documents that supposedly reveal Google's algorithm secrets, but that's not really the case. What is the case is that there are a lot of hints about how Google's core algorithm works. Now, a lot of the documents are also from 2016 and 2017, so one might argue that they're not relevant in 2023 and beyond, and I would agree with that. But a lot of the core elements that Google has been looking at, or Google looks at for SEO purposes, has remained unchanged, I would argue, for the past decade or so. Content, it has been backlinks, it has been clicks, it has been anchor text, it has always been that. What has changed is how Google reacts to people, to interactions with these websites that are in their SERPs, and how Google studies those interactions and then changes SERPs accordingly. And so that's what the major algorithm changes mainly do, is they're taking in user feedback, which is not really users sending them feedback, but how they're reacting to SERPs. So I'll go into the documents in this video and reveal exactly what this is telling us, and it doesn't tell us why Google has redacted a lot of the parts. Well, it's really obvious why Google has redacted many parts of the document or the presentations that have been submitted as evidence. But there's also another reason, even though that these documents date to 2015, 2017, 2016, and the real reason is mainly because a lot of that still applies to present their search results. So before I go into the video, I just want to say like and subscribe. I offer SEO services. You can go to my website, cloudseo.dubai.com, where I offer monthly SEO services. I also offer topical mapping services. I also offer audit services. So if your website is stuck someplace, if you're not being able to get it to rank, or the rankings have dropped, I think the first thing to do is to get my audit service, because then I'll audit your website, find out what's going wrong, provide you with information you will need to re-rank your website or get your website back up there. Also, if you're starting a new website, my topical mapping services help map out the topics that you should cover on your website to establish yourself as a topical authority. Because if you're not establishing yourself as a topical authority, then there's no point actually doing any SEO, because Google will not see you as being worth ranking. There's a lot of competition out there, so why would Google rank your site or your service site or any site that you're trying to cover if it doesn't cover the topic the way Google wants you to cover it? And that is what I reveal. There's a link in the description of Google's form. If you're looking for SEO services, fill out the form and I will get in touch with you. We can discuss what you need in terms of your website's SEO, monthly SEO, and we can go from there. So now that I have that out of the way, let's jump right into the video. According to Google's documents, there are mainly 3 pillars to SEO. And I put this on the screen. The 3 pillars are the body, so the document says about itself, and so that's where the content comes in and how good the content is. Then there's anchor text. Now, exactly how many anchor texts you need on a website, Google doesn't reveal that, but I'll get into that in this video a little bit. User interaction, what users say about the document. Now, just keep this in mind. I said earlier in many videos that Google doesn't understand your document. Google doesn't understand your website. Google doesn't understand what content is on your website. Google is mainly studying user interactions. It's also a pattern matching algorithm, and so it's matching patterns that it sees at your website with the patterns that it sees with other websites. If the patterns match, Google reacts accordingly. So the 3 pillars of ranking according to documents is the body. One document says about itself, anchors what the web says about the document. So this is where the user interactions come in. And then after there's user interactions is what users say about the document. So if you look at this, it says the DOJ finally revealed the life of a click, explaining Google use clicks for ranking. The 3 pillars of ranking is on-page, so links, anchor text. So links means internal links in this context, not backlinks, and user interactions. What user interactions does Google measure? You've got attention, which is hover mouse movements, and this is not a user interaction on your website. It's Google. The interaction is on the SERPs. So when someone searches for, let's say, best dog trainer, Google is looking at the interactions on its SERPs, so how people are scrolling through its SERPs, what on what links or what websites people are hovering their mouse on, and so Google is looking at. So it's attention, it's clicks, it's scrolls, and it's enters a new query. Now, usually when people they would scroll through the search, they would not find what they're looking for, and they would enter in a new query. If that's the case in Google, and I assume Google assumes this, is that the person has not found what they're looking for, and so the SERPs are irrelevant to their search query. The data is fed back into search results, obviously, because that's all the data that Google is collecting, even from your website, which we'll go into in this video, is also being sent back to Google, because you would obviously have Google's little snippet of code on your website. So this data is fed back into Google search results, and it apparently helps Google understand relevance at scales. Today, our ability to understand documents directly is minimal. So Google is confirming that they don't understand the relevance of documents. They also say, so we watch how people react to documents and memorize their response. Again, this is what I've been saying for a very long time. And then there's an explanation to this in the slide. If you read here, 1 billion times a day, people ask us to find documents relevant to a query. What's crazy is that we don't actually understand documents beyond some basic stuff. We hardly look at documents, we look at people. Yes, because it's a people-first search engine. And also a machine cannot understand nuances of language. Your article can be the most best written, most intuitive, most insightful article, and Google will not understand it. But Google relies on people understanding it, and so if people understand it, people like it, love it, Google will love it too. If a document gets positive reaction, we figure it out, it is good, so Google is saying this. If the reaction is negative, it is probably bad. Grossly simplified, this is a source of Google's magic. So this is Google's own slide. Google is saying this in its own slide. And then it says, each searcher benefits from responses of past users, and contributes to responses that benefit future users. And so if you search right now, you'll benefit from the billions of past user interactions we recorded, and your responses will benefit people who come after you. Search keeps working by induction. This has an important implication in designing user experiences. Serving the user is not enough. We have to design interactions that allow us to learn from users. And so mainly the entire search engine, or the crux of the search engine, or the core of the search engine, is to mainly study user behavior. And so if user behavior is positive towards a website, it will automatically rank. Even if you as an expert see the content on the website as being crappy. So if users find it helpful, crappy content, AI content really doesn't matter, at least in terms of this. So looking in the future, I believe learning from users is also a key to truly understanding languages. Okay, so the next slide here is how does search work, and this is a descriptive way of how it works. So it's got results, learning, SERPs, and pretty much this is how it works. So the way to unpack this is that the 3 interactions we already knew was it was clicks, it was user behavior on your site, it was the content on your site, because obviously that would influence user behavior, and then it was obviously anchor text, because with anchor text people will land on your page if they find relevant information that's related to the page that you already have, and they click on the anchor text, and the anchor text is relevant. And that's why I keep saying the click here to do this, to do that, the learn more anchor text is not really as helpful. Your anchor text should be descriptive, and so lately Google has revealed that you should have good anchor text. So what do we make of this document? Well, for one, rethink the way you're doing SEO. If you're an SEO specialist, or if you're someone who's running a website, think in terms of how people will look at you in your search. Search for your own self, using the query you think people will be using, and see if your own website comes up correctly with the correct information. And so here your metadata is important. So your meta description, your title, your H1 is very important, and so that you should be working on a lot of that. Now in the modern day, Google has evolved the search engine to now understand at least these 3 parts of the metadata, and so they're highly relevant and they're highly clickable. You will at least get on the first page, and then based on user interactions, if they're positive, you'll climb up the first page to number 1, number 2, number 3, and that's where, once you're on number 3, for instance, getting to number 1 is like really, really hard. And so regardless of what you do, you probably would not get to number 1 unless the user interactions on your website or to your website are positive, or positive in SERPs, or Google makes an algorithmic change or internal change that then moves your website up to number 1 and the other 2 websites go down, or the 2 websites go down for some other reason and then you're number 1 by default. But other than that, you're not going to get to number 1 just like that. But it's possible to get to page 1 by using all the right on-page tools, using all the right on-page techniques that I talk about in my videos to get on the first page. And then hopefully if you have great content, you can rank number 1. So hope you find this video useful. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.